Hello and welcome, dear students. Today we will discuss an important topic, that is polygenic inheritance. The main objectives of today's lecture are to gain knowledge about polygenic inheritance, to gain insight into the factors affecting polygenic inheritance, and to describe various principles of polygenic inheritance. Polygenic or quantitative inheritance refers to the kind of inheritance in which the trait is produced from the cumulative effects of many genes, in contrast to monogenic inheritance, wherein the trait results from the expression of one gene or one gene pair. This type of inheritance differs from Mendelian inheritance patterns in which traits are determined by one gene. Polygenic traits have many possible phenotypes that are determined by interactions among several alleles. In polygenic inheritance, the genes contributing to a trait have equal influence and the alleles for the gene have an additive effect. Polygenic traits do not exhibit complete dominance as do Mendelian traits, but exhibit incomplete dominance. In incomplete dominance, one allele does not completely dominate or mask another. The phenotype is a mixture of the phenotypes inherited from the parent alleles. Genes that each contribute a small amount to the variation in quantitative trait are called multiple factors or polygenes, or simply many genes. Environmental factors can also influence polygenic traits. Now, the examples of polygenic traits include skin color, height, weight, strength, intelligence coefficient, nearly all personality traits, hair color, etc. in humans, and grain color, length of maize or flower size, etc. in plants. Now, the types of polygenic traits. Three categories of traits are frequently found to have quantitative inheritance. First, continuous traits. Most phenotypic variation in polygenic traits among populations is not manifested in a few easily distinguished categories. Instead, the traits vary continuously from one phenotypic extreme to the other, with no clean-cut breaks in between. Human height is a prime example of such a trait. Other examples include milk production in cattle, growth rate in poultry, yield in corn, and blood pressure in human beings. Weight is also an example of a continuous trait, because the weight of an organism can fall anywhere along a continuous scale of weights. So, the number of possible phenotypes is virtually unlimited. Now, two other types of quantitative traits are not continuous. Meristic traits. The meristic traits are the traits in which the phenotype is determined by counting. Some examples are the number of skin ridges forming the fingerprints, number of kernels on an ear of corn, number of eggs laid by a hen, number of bristles on the abdomen of a fly, and number of puppies in a litter. An example of a meristic trait is the number of ears on a stalk of corn, which typically has the value 1, 2, 3 or 4 ears on a given stalk. Next category is the threshold traits. These are the traits that have only two or few phenotypic classes, but their inheritance is determined by the effects of multiple genes together with the environment. Example of threshold traits includes twinning in cattle and parthenogenesis, that is, development of unfertilized eggs in turkeys. In a threshold trait, each organism has an underlying and not directly observable predisposition to express the trait, such as a predisposition for a cow to give birth to twins. If the underlying predisposition is high enough, that is above a threshold level, the cow will actually give birth to twins. Otherwise, she will give birth to a single calf. Many human diseases with a genetic component are threshold trait disorders, and the phenotypic classes are affected versus not affected. Example of such disorder include adult onset diabetes, schizophrenia, and many congenital abnormalities such as spina bifida. Threshold traits can be interpreted as continuous traits by imagining that each individual has an underlying risk or liability towards manifestation of the condition. A liability above a certain cutoff, that is threshold, results in expression of the condition. A liability below the threshold results in normality. The liability of an individual to a threshold trait cannot be observed directly, but inferences about liability can be drawn from the incidence of the condition among individuals and their relatives. Now, let us discuss inheritance of human skin color as an example of polygenic inheritance. This human skin color is a good example of polygenic or multiple gene inheritance, which is controlled by 3 genes. Now, let us assume that 3 dominant capital letters, that is A, B and C, control dark pigmentation because more melanin is produced. The recessive alleles of these 3 genes, that is small letters A, B and C, control light pigmentation because lower amounts of melanin are produced. The words dominant and recessive are placed in quotation marks because these pairs of alleles are not truly dominant and recessive, as in some of the garden pea traits that Gregor Mendel studied. A genotype with all dominant capital genes, that is capital A, capital A, capital B, capital B, capital C, capital C, has the maximum amount of melanin and very dark skin. A genotype with all recessive small case genes, that is small a, small a, small b, small b, small c and small c, has the lowest amount of melanin and very light skin. Each dominant capital gene produces 1 unit of color, so that a wide range of intermediate skin colors are produced, depending on the number of dominant capital genes in the genotype. For example, a genotype with 3 dominant capital genes and 3 small case recessive genes, that is capital A, capital B, small b, capital C, small c, has a medium amount of melanin and an intermediate skin color. This genotype would be characteristic of a mulatto. A cross between pure white and pure black can produce an intermediate type, that is a mulatto. In a cross between two mulatto genotypes, each parent produces 8 different types of gametes, and these gametes combine with each other in 64 different ways, resulting in a total of 7 skin colors. The skin colors can be represented by the number of capital letters ranging from 0, that is no capital letters, to 6, that is all capital letters. The approximate shades of skin color corresponding to each genotype is as a genotype with no dominant gene produces pure white skin color phenotype. A genotype with one dominant gene produces very light brown skin color phenotype. A genotype with 2 dominant genes produces light brown skin color phenotype. A genotype with 3 dominant genes produces intermediate skin color phenotype called as mulatto. A genotype with 4 dominant genes produces dark brown skin color phenotype. A genotype with 5 dominant genes produces very dark brown color phenotype. A genotype with 6 dominant genes produces pure black skin color phenotype. These 6 phenotypes are produced in the ratio, that is pure white 1 out of 64, very light brown 6 out of 64, light brown 15 out of 64, intermediate, that is mulatto 20 out of 64, dark brown 15 out of 64, very dark brown 6 out of 64, and pure black only 1 out of 64. The frequency distribution produces a bell shaped curve. Now, the characteristics of quantitative or polygenic inheritance. Based on the studies on inheritance patterns of polygenic characters, it can be concluded that polygenic inheritance is characterized by, first, segregation occurs at an indefinitely large number of gene loci. Next, the genes for a multiple trait have different biochemical functions but similar phenotypic result. Next, the polygenes are bonded together and are broken by crossing over in insertion zygote. Next, the polygenes are pleiotropic in their expression, that is, one gene may modify or suppress more than one phenotypic trait. Next, polygenes are always under the influence of environmental factors and hence the quantitative trait is altered. Classic example comes from identical twins. The identical twins have identical genotypes, but reared under different environment show different phenotypic effects, that is differences in IQ, color, etc. Now, principles of polygenic inheritance. Polygenic inheritance is governed by following principles. First, a polygenic trait typically shows a difference in degree among related individuals. Thus, some kernels are redder than others. Some skin is darker than others, and so on. Second, the greater the number of loci determining the trait, the more continuous the variation. Third, as the number of loci determining a trait increases, the proportion of extreme phenotypes among the progeny decreases proportionately. Fourth, when highly inbred lines continue to exhibit variation in a polygenic trait, the variation is attributed to environmental rather than genetic causes. This rule of thumb applies both to inbred parental lines and to their F1 offspring, which should be genetically identical to one another and uniformly heterozygous for the input parental polygenes. Fifth, an F1 and an F2 population usually display the same average value for a polygenic trait, a value that is usually intermediate between the two parents. Sixth, the range of phenotypes in the F2 is usually greater than in the F1. This is due to the fact that all possible combinations of alleles are likely to turn up in the F2 generation, whereas a much smaller group of combinations is possible in the homogeneous F1 generation. The limit for this is set by the phenotypic extremes of the two parents. Now, factors affecting polygenic traits or quantitative traits. Quantitative traits or polygenic traits are influenced not only by the alleles of two or more genes, but also by the effects of environment. Therefore, with respect to a quantitative trait, the phenotype of an organism is potentially influenced by first genetic factors in the form of alternative genotypes of one or more genes. Second, environmental factors in the form of conditions that are favorable or unfavorable for the development of the trait. Examples include the effect of smoking on the development of lung cancer in human beings, that of nutrition on the growth rate of animals, and that of fertilizer, rainfall, and planting density on the yield of crop plants. Now, statistical analysis of polygenic traits. The distribution of individuals displaying various degrees of a polygenic trait can usually be approximated by a bell-shaped curve. For polygenic inheritance, a bell-shaped distribution with the largest proportion of individuals displaying the average or mean phenotype and the smallest proportion of individuals at either extreme is obtained. A symmetrical distribution of this type is called normal distribution. Two parameters are known to define a normal distribution. the mean and the standard deviation. The mean is expressed as x bar is equal to sum of x values divided by the number of values, where x represents each value in the population, x bar is the mean value of the sample, and n is the number of values in the sample. Standard deviation, which is denoted by sigma, is expressed as sigma is equal to under root of summation of whole square of x minus x bar divided by n minus 1. Quantitative traits are usually described by a parameter called variance, which is simply the square of the standard deviation, expressed as sigma square is equal to summation of whole square of x minus x bar divided by n minus 1. As quantitative inheritance is influenced by genetic and environmental factors, total phenotypic variance of quantitative inheritance can be expressed as V subscript capital T is equal to V subscript capital G plus V subscript capital E plus V subscript capital G capital E plus twice C subscript capital G capital E, where V subscript capital T is equal to total phenotypic variance. V subscript capital G is equal to genetic variance. That is, this variance would be equal to 0 if the individuals in the sample were identical in genotype as in a sample of monozygotic twins. It describes the genetic contribution of all loci that contribute to the trait in an additive manner, although it ignores genes that exhibit dominance or loci that are epistatic to one another. Capital V subscript capital E is equal to environmental variance. This variance would be equal to 0 if the individuals in the sample were all reared in an identical environment. Capital V subscript capital G capital E is equal to variance due to genetic and environmental interactions. If two genotypes are raised in the same environment and one genotype responds differently to that environment than the other, then variance is created above and beyond the capital V subscript capital G, that is genetic variance, and capital V subscript capital E, that is environmental variance parameters, and is termed capital V subscript capital G capital E, that is variance due to genetic and environmental interactions. Capital C subscript capital G capital E is equal to covariance of genotype and environment. This component arises if two genotypes are selectively raised in two distinct environments, so that genotype A is correlated with environment A and genotype B is correlated with environment B. For most purposes, the terms capital V subscript capital G capital E and capital C subscript capital G capital E. Terms are ignored because they are difficult to measure, so that total phenotypic variance is equal to capital V subscript capital G plus capital V subscript capital E. With this, we come to the end of the lecture. Hope you would have enjoyed it. Thank you all.